Hey guys, it's Haff. I am back again, and this is going to be an update of my Project 10 Pan Round 2 for 2016. I put 16 items in, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. And I have made some pretty good progress on a few things and some pretty bad progress on some other things. So what I will do first is I will go through the things that I've actually used up. So the first one was the Oskin face serum. Oop. Not really surprising that this is used up, although it did last a lot longer than I was expecting. It was actually, I think about 10 days out of this. It was nearly 2 weeks before I used it up, but I didn't use it every day. There was a couple of days that I missed, but it seemed nice enough. I don't know whether it actually did anything or not. I really don't know, but I used it up and, you know, it was nice, and it's one more sample out of my collection. And then we had the Burts Bees Intense Hydration Facial Oil, Nourishing Facial Water. Had the little pack, and this was like in the first couple of days. I'd already emptied this into the container. I finished this up a couple of days ago. I don't like it. I actually found that it stung quite badly in certain places on my face. I think that might have been because of the clary sage. So this was not my favourite facial water. I'm gone back to using the Swiss one, and I've realised I don't really like that one either. That one tends to sting my eyes a little bit. So I will be on the lookout for another one. I quite like the Garnier one, but I want to try the L'Oreal one. Tamara J from Everyday with Tamara J, leave a link down below. She quite likes that one, so I'll try that one. But that is another thing that is finished. Then we have one of the hydrating face masks from Aveda. I have 3 of them in the challenge in my project pan. I have only used one of them in like 3 weeks and that was only one application. I went online, looked up how you're supposed to use it. It says that you're supposed to use a thick coat. So to do a thick coat, it's only, there's 7 mils in here. You'd probably get like 1.5 if you're a little bit more lenient with how much you used. I didn't find that it did anything. The only thing I got was comments from people in my household as to why I had a very, very shiny face for a while. I don't think it did anything for my skin. It might have, but I don't know. But I am a third of the way through that particular product. So, you know, it's still progress, and that's what we're trying to get here. So, that's all good. Now to the things that were not finished, but progress. Progress has been made on everything, it's just that some of them are better than others. So the first one, this one has bugger all progress on it, is the Cell Solution Foot and Leg Cream. I used this, I think, twice, and then I thought, oh, if I put it in my bedroom, I'll put it on my legs while I'm like lying in bed, like watching television or whatever. I have not used it since I put it in my bedroom, so I need to take it back out of my bedroom. I kept thinking I need to use it, and then I didn't use it. So I have probably used like that much, like hardly any at all. It is super, super thick. You don't really need very much. So that one, I've made progress. It's just really not very good progress. The next one is the W7 Photo Shoot Foundation. This is in Buff. I was guessing that I was about there when I started, and I opened it up to have a look inside, and it looked like it was around about there. I have actually used it a few times. I've worn makeup a lot more in the last 3 weeks than I had for ages. So yeah, there is definitely progress being made. I quite like it. Wearing it today, it is a nice foundation. It doesn't, I don't find it breaks up too much on me. It doesn't look too cakey. Yeah, it's okay. The next thing was the Estee Lauder Sumptuous Mascara. I mean, this is a super wet mascara. And I think it would probably last longer than 3 months, the amount of usage I've got. But I will still be throwing this at the end of the thing if I haven't like completely used it up. It's a nice mascara. I quite like it. I probably wouldn't fork out the money for it, but it's a nice mascara. Next we have the LA Colors LA Girl Pro Conceal High Definition Concealer. I've used this quite a bit, and today when I used it, it kind of like that big air bubble came out of it, so it squishes down so much more effectively now. And I got a better idea of where I'm at, which is about there. So I put a bit of a line there. I can now sort of like squeeze it down and see through it a little bit better, so it might even be a bit lower than that. It's okay. I don't think it's the best concealer for me. It's slightly peach tone, so I tend to use it under my eyes to try and cover some of the I haven't been sleeping bags. But it's okay. It does crease a little bit on me, or like settle a little into the fine lines. The other thing I noticed this morning when I used it is that I was getting these like weird like pigment particles that were kind of sitting there. It was very strange. Hadn't noticed it before, so I don't know, just weird. The next one is the Olay Regenerous Wrinkle Revolution Complex. This is getting empty. I know this is getting empty because when I push down on the thing, I occasionally get a little bit of a splutter. So, and it feels a lot lighter. So I don't really think there's too much left in it. It's impossible to tell. But I'm thinking probably by the next update, this one will actually be gone. If I keep using it the way that I have been, because there are definite signs that it is nearly done. Then we have the Aqsa One and All Hand and Nail Rescue. I was actually really surprised by this. This is not my favourite hand cream, I have to say. When I held it up to the light and checked it, I'm all the way down here. Like, there is a lot of air in this thing, and I thought, you know, it's brand new, I've barely used it, and I'm thinking, you know, it should be up here, like up here when I started. There's not as much product in this as there appears to be, because I have not used it every single day. There's been a few days that I've missed, and it is down a really long way. I'm actually really, really surprised. It's okay, but I don't like it. It's an okay hand cream. I don't think it's making any huge difference to my skin. It doesn't feel any softer or any more moisturised than it did before. This is one of those hand creams that you have to rub in a bit. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. I know most people just want their hand cream to just soak in. Thing is, the massaging thing is the thing that actually is doing you the most good, because it stimulates the blood supply in your hand and it cleans out the bad bits and brings fresh blood in. And that's the good thing. That's what you actually want to happen. So a hand cream that requires you to rub it in a little bit more for a little bit longer is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. However, sometimes you get a hand cream where you do that and you end up basically taking off the top layer of your skin, and so you end up with like little peely bits. And unfortunately, this is one of those hand creams that it just takes that touch too long to rub in, so that you end up getting balls of like skin and product sort of like balling up, which I guess is kind of good for your hands because it's exfoliating your hands, but it is really disgusting. And I was wearing black pants and I was in the car and I'm just rubbing my hands together, and then I thought, hang on a second, and I looked down and I had white, creamy white flecks all over my pants, and they wouldn't brush off. They just like stuck to my pants, and I was seriously pissed off. So yeah, it's okay, but it's a little, I won't buy this one again because I know that it's not for me. It's not the type of hand cream that I like. Then we have the Sally Hansen Cuticle Oil. This was a rollover from the last project. I was at the blue line down here when I started, and I'm now at the pink line. So, you know, again, pretty steady progress on this. It's something that I basically use at least once a day. I'm actually probably a little bit lower than that pink one. It's something that I use at least once a day. I will need to go out and get some more cuticle oil, because this is actually all the cuticle oil I've got in the house at the moment. And yeah, I'm probably got another 4 weeks or so with this one, so maybe 6 weeks, depending, because sometimes I use it a lot more, and sometimes it depends, like if I've done my nails, and sometimes when I do my nails, yes, they are both completely different, and no, they do not have anything interesting on them. Sometimes you'll like nick the skin, so I'll use more cuticle oil if I've got a little bit of damage or dry skin around my cuticles from doing my nails. So, okay, next we have the Grace Cold Pineapple and Passion Fruit Lip Balm. One of the downsides of having long nails, especially long acrylic nails, is that stuff gets stuck underneath them, and so like if you're trying to get into a container, where my nail sits, it actually, like going like this, I was literally getting it underneath my nail because this product was actually quite low in the tin. So I got a tool and I scraped it sort of to one side so that I could dab my finger in it without getting it under my nails, because that just drives me crazy. So it looks like I've made a lot more progress than I actually have, because the tin was really only half full up the side, like it was only full to like about here. So all I've done is just squished it to one side, so it's yeah, it looks like I've used a lot, but I actually haven't. But I have used it at least once a day, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on whether I remember to use it or not. Usually remember to use it when I'm like watching someone else's project pan, and it's like, oh yeah, I must use my lip balm. Oh dear. Okay, the next thing is the Avon Femme, what do you call that, perfume. So I had 5 of them. I pulled one off of it so that I, can kind of focus on using it. I've probably used it 4 times. So there's a little tiny bit of progress. I just keep on forgetting to use it. I'm actually beginning to quite like the smell. It's not, the best smell in the world. It's not worst. It's, but it's nice. So I just need to. I'm so not used to wearing perfume because it's not something that I ever grew up doing. It's not something that people around me really did a lot. So it wasn't something I really learnt to do. My mum's not a big fragrance fan, so yeah, I just need to train myself to do it a bit more often. Then we have the surprise product for me, the Paula Choice Skin Perfecting 8% AHA Gel. I went on Paula's Choice and read up on how one was supposed to use this. So basically what you do is you wash your face and you tone your face, if that's what you do, and then you put some of this on. It says like a dime size amount, and then you let that set, and then you put like a serum on, and then you put like your moisturizer on. They have like she has like this really good list where it depends on which products you need to use, like for what skin condition, which order you put things on in. So I have used this almost every single day since I started this project. I think I probably missed 2 or 3 days. I was surprised at how much I actually like the results of what I'm getting. When I haven't used it for a couple of days, I kind of notice it, like my skin starts to feel a little bit rougher or whatever. So I think it's actually doing something. There's a teeny tiny bit of stinging when you put it on in certain parts of your face anyway. But yeah, I basically just put a dime size amount on my hand, and then I pretty much put it everywhere. So it's really hard to tell how much is in this container, and this container must have been super full because it's been, at least a couple of weeks. I've used it, I have to have used it at least 14 times, if not more. And I opened it up and it looks like I'm only down there. So this is not going to be finished up in this project. This is going to last bloody ages. Like there's 30 mil in here, and you seem to be using like half a mil or something. It's quite a thick, it's a gel, it's kind of like a thick gel, but it's a thin gel at the same time, and that probably doesn't make any sense, but it's a good product. I actually really, really like it. I'm actually surprised that I really, really like it. I'm really glad I made myself start using it. The next one is the Revlon Colour Stay Foundation in Fairlight. This is one of their mineral foundations. I was basically where the green line is. That was where I was at the end of the last project I had this in. So, and I'm sort of below that pink line there. I think I've used it like 3 times. I really don't like mineral powdery foundations like this. They just go bloody everywhere. Like, that's what I found. But I did use it the other day when I went out I was out all day long, and I was outside for quite a long time, and I had used I think it's the Olay CC cream first, and then I put this over the top, and my makeup stayed on. Like, I looked like, when I got home, except for the fact I didn't have a lipstick on anymore, I pretty much looked exactly the same as when I went out. So I was actually really impressed by that. And, you know, it was cold and it was windy and there was a bit of rain and stuff, and it felt nice and light, and it was just, I was actually just really, really impressed. So it did the job in that case. So, yeah, I'm not hating it quite so much anymore. The next thing is the Designer Brands Extender Brow. This is the, like, fibery things that you put on your eyebrows. Hence caterpillar eyebrows today. They are intense. I've used it a few times. Like, every time I've done my eyebrows, I've used it. I was up sort of, I don't know if you can see the line properly, but it was up there a bit. So I've definitely made progress in it. It really isn't, like, when I first bought this, I got another one in like a sample box, like Bella box or Violet box or something, and I'd already had it for a while, and I'd used it for a while, and then I decided I didn't really like it, and now I've got like 2 of them. So, yeah, it's okay. It does make my eyebrows quite a bit darker. It does make them fuller. It does make them look more like furry caterpillars. But, yeah, it's okay. I really want to get this one done and out of the collection. The only product I did not use for the whole of this challenge so far is the Cella eyebrow pencil. So it has not moved at all, and the reason for that is because I haven't quite finished my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I have about 5 ml of that left. So that should not be too much longer before I can start working on this one. So that is everything that is in my current project pan. This is my round 2 for 2016. In case you've been wondering for the whole of this video what I'm wearing on my lips, it is the NYX Wicked Lippy in Trickery Super Cherie, which is an olive green lipstick. So that is what I'm wearing on my lips at the moment. So if you want to subscribe, click down below, leave me a thumbs up if you like Project Pan type videos, and leave me a comment down below. I try to respond to all comments, and I will see you in my next video. See ya!